intro for you.
Welcome to the Puff and Ponder podcast, where conversations ignite. Here's Kevin and Kerr. Grab a seat, light it up, let's unwind. Kevin and Kerr with stories in mind, from good cigars to last night's game. Join the talk, you'll be glad you came. Puff and Ponder, sparks take flight. Conversations blaze all day and night. Tune in now, don't hesitate. It's the show that's great. Let's elevate where conversations ignite. Don't hesitate.
I taught you everything, so welcome to the Puff and Ponder podcast, where conversations ignite. That was an intro I paid somebody to do. Care's working on redoing it, so don't.
Well, I think what we need to do is every show we need to do a new one and get some feedback on it. Now that one, I feel like I need to go out and date Travis Kelce.
But I see. For me, I was listening to maybe just because I had started Cigar Show Tim Long. He just posted a video. He preached his very first sermon, I guess this past Sunday, and I just started a few seconds of it. But I felt like that's like a very church, like uplifting song. I felt like I was in church just now listening to that.
It is. Listen, I told you before. I think it's a very catchy tune.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an intro song, but it definitely is one that maybe is on the B side of the intro. But
yes,
it is very, very, very catchy.
Yeah. Are you sharing artists with Lee Mack? Why has Lee Mack got a new? Does he have a tune? Did we hire the same person, me and Lee Mack? So
I don't know, man. I'm still gonna go with my reggae one. I thought was pretty good, but
yeah, I like.
We'll have to throw them all out there. Get some folks to weigh in on it. But it's catchy. You want to do our read-ins here?
What's that? Yeah, I need to share my screen real quick.
Okay.
Because I gotta pick a winner for an online or a contest we had on Instagram. Make sure you're following us all on the Instagrams. Winners 3D Outdoors, right on. I'm always giving shit away. I'm actually I'm hungry because Carrie, your beef jerky will be on the way tomorrow.
Yes.
I've got this one.
Jennifer found the beef jerky, by the way. The missing beef jerky.
Lee Max got at least 6. I'm gonna have to go and listen. But this one is before we kick off the show, we'd like to thank JerkyGent for being a supporter of the Puff and Ponder podcast. JerkyGent.com is just not another snack website. They're a flavor expedition for the connoisseur of craft beef jerky. Every month, their Beef Jerky Club subscription box delivers an assortment of premium mouthwatering jerky brands and flavors sourced from across the country. Their carefully curated selections ensuring a unique tasting journey for their subscribers with new brands and flavors introduced every month. Today, I've got a Rogue from Rogue Jerky Company up in Michigan. This is Bonfire Bourbon. It's got a smoky coffee orange. This is so delicious. I got 4 containers of jerky, or 4 bags of jerky. I sent you 2, Care. I know you got like a crushed red pepper, and there was like a Japanese one in there. So I thought you'd really probably dig that Japanese one. So yeah,
I did find Jennifer did find the beef jerky. Since I was the last to touch it, I'm going to go ahead and take responsibility that I threw it up in the snack bin and apparently tossed it too far and it went behind the basket. So
I was a little hungry because I ate dinner at 3:00. So I had to go pick up my truck from the dealership, and there's a great pizza place right next door. So we decided to go over there for late lunch, early dinner, because then I ate too much. I come home, took a nap, didn't wake up till 5. Now I'm discombobulated, and because it's Monday, I worked. Just been What's that?
I worked today too.
They took off the head off one side of the engine and then replaced 8 lifters, a bunch of gaskets, bent a push rod, so a whole bunch of damage done on one side of the motor. And but what's irritating me is when and I had to give him a little help. I don't know if he was a new salesman when he called me up last week, because I had it towed in, and he calls me up. Hey, Kevin, got your truck in. A technician got to look at it, and he's got some recommendations for you. We're going to recommend that cabin air filter, going to recommend that coolant flush, and recommends a couple things. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and take care of it. I mean, you already know I'm a technician. I work at a shop. I can take care of that myself. He goes, I know, but the technician, gave me the results of his inspection. And I go, yeah, I appreciate that. That technician probably doesn't know. And then I said, if I could be of assistance to you, when a customer brings their vehicle in, start off with a complaint. Don't try and sell them a ton of other stuff before he's trying to sell me $900 worth of work before we talk about why the truck was in the shop.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, lead in. I go, when a customer comes in with a brake complaint, I don't start off with, hey, you need an air filter. I'm like, hey, you came in for this complaint. Here's what we found. This is what it's going to cost to fix it.
While you're here.
Along with this, the technician did inspect the rest of the vehicle, and he found some preventative maintenance items that you may want to address while we have the vehicle in the shop today. And then you go over that list, and he thanked me, and I'm like, all right, I'm like, I've just been doing this for forever. So I told him, no, just do what's under warranty. And
no, I mean, you're absolutely right. Listen, if you're there for repair, you lead with what the issue was. You lead with what needs to be fixed, what was fixed, and then you kind of layer in. That's when you sell up. If you come out of the gate selling, all the people are going to hear is want. So you go, okay, that's fucking great. Did you fix my brakes? Did you fix my muffler? Did you fix the catalytic converter? Because right now you're telling me all this shit that I do need. I want to talk about what it needed.
That's it. A Truck American. That's GMC. I don't know. It's American owned. But Jason Hawkins, you see it every day at Service Writers. Jason is at a dealership. So you don't lead off with a bunch of other stuff. You got to address the customer's complaints first, and then you lead off. Because if I was paying for it, I probably would have bought the other stuff. Because if I was paying for this job, the job was $7,000 job, $6,000 job. So to spend another $700-800, I'd have been like, whatever, just do the other work.
You're going in with zero to pay, and you want to leave with zero to pay.
Yeah, that's it. So and then he tried to sell me a coolant flush. It's time to have your coolant flush, and I just let it go. All that. Knowing that it was nowhere near time to do a coolant flush on that vehicle because it's still pretty new. And I knew what the job entailed. Removing the head from a vehicle loses the majority of the coolant in the vehicle. So why would I pay for a coolant flush when you're already going to be replacing 75% of the coolant in that vehicle while you're doing this job? You
already flushed it for me. Thanks.
Yeah, that's it.
So Kevin,
twice the miles out. We won't even go there. So Toyota's great. You can get 200,000 to 300,000 miles out of any vehicle if properly maintained.
Now,
so what were we talking about before the show?
I'll be talking about cigars. I want to smoke a fucking cigar, bro. I didn't light anything up yet, man. What are you smoking?
I don't want to say because it's not very good, and I think I'm gonna have to put it down. It's from I must just say it's one of my favorite cigars, the Drew Estate Nica Rustica. And I'm not, it's not burning right. The cap's coming off, and it's just, it is what it is. Just not happy with it.
So everyone can keep things in perspective. How many of those do you smoke in like a month or 2 months or whatever have you?
So on
the regular,
on the regular, none lately. In 2023, I smoked over 100 of these. Right. In 1 year.
And how many?
Over 100 because it was in the running for my cigar of the year.
How many?
with those 100 plus in 2023, one single issue.
Yep.
So on this one, I'm, it's
you give it grace.
I mean, that's it.
They have a long-standing history of having a very well-made cigar, and you're going to have from time to time. And what sucks is this: is if it's, let's just say, if it's one cigar in 100, it all depends on where that one comes in. Because if it's number 2, and you're like, motherfucker. Yeah. If it's 99, you're like, oh man, this is a great roll.
It's funny you say that. So that this cigar was in the running with the Steve Saka, the Sober Mesa. Both cigars was we'll say at 100. Like I was coming down to 3 weeks before the end of the year. I had to make my decision on these cigars. The very last day that I pinpointed that this is the day I got to decide, I sat down and lit both up. This cigar, the very last one I smoked, gave me an issue. Switch over to the Sober Mesa. The very last one I smoked was flawless. So it's weird you say that because it was the very last cigar.
You're only as good as your last game. You're only as good as your last cigar. So, while you struggle with that, I'm going to be smoking this tonight.
Oh, the Grace O'Malley Pirate Queen.
Grace O'Malley Pirate Queen. We know Grace O'Malley with a head full of curls and heart full of dreams. Grace O'Malley, the Pirate Queen. Yeah.
So I got love that little cigar rest. I saw you already had some fans. I still have that. Do me a favor, reach out in the video notes, Kevin@cigarprop.com. Shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to go over everything with you with what you need, and we'll talk about it in greater detail.
It's nice Robusto. I'm gonna pull out my old.
It's the Basilisk. That's what I decided, and that's what I decided to name that size. Since we are in the day and age of everybody naming the cigars whatever they want. So that's the Basilisk, which is actually the most popular cannon size because it has a.
I am going to be using the cigar propometer. So this is a 5-inch Basilisk. Is that what you said it is?
Basilisk. I don't know how to pronounce it either.
Okay. And it looks like it's probably a good size 5x54.
5x54, 52. 52, I think.
That's a 54 home slice.
Oh, is it? Maybe those 54.
So that's good size, man. So 5x54. Everyone should have a propometer.
And the reason why I decided on Basilisk, it's a 5-inch gun. So I figured that was the.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yep, that's 5-inch cannon. They are not out yet. They're going to be available March 1st.
The cannon.
So, the cannons, the cigars, and the cigars will actually come with a free Pirate cannon base, cigar rest base.
Look at that. That's pretty cool, right? You know, it comes from you from Cigar Prop. Look at that.
That's it. It's a it does not have a sweetened tip. It is not infused. The cigars were for 91 days they were inside of a rum barrel, so they're not an overly powerful cigar or like overly like the rum, the spirit hasn't overpowered the cigar to where you still can't taste it.
Not a bit. It actually, when you smell it, like the smell, you're like, oh, you could definitely tell it spent some time around rum, right? It's gonna be smelling like it smells like Captain Jack Sparrow. But when you light up and you smoke it, it does not overwhelm you like some of the some of the cigars that use bourbons or cognacs or what have you, where it can be a sweeter alcohol, a little bit stronger, a little bit more potent, and it complements the blend really well. I even reached out to Risty. I was like, you can still taste the tobacco, like you were saying. You can still taste the tobacco. You can still taste the cigar and the blend. It's very strong. It's very tasty. It's got some good flavor, but the rum is just enough there to enhance it.
Habibi, what's going on? Yeah, absolutely. Risty killed it with the blend. Like I said, the guys at Single Barrel Cigar Company. Maybe Karen and I should do a show. I don't feel I don't feel your pulse. You and Carrie, definitely hop on, do a show.
Maybe Habibi Hishihashi would get a better drawn picture of me.
Yeah.
For the intro.
When we go to a PCA, I know there's going to be some photographers there. I want to get us some good photos.
Okay.
Like of us, of our head. So of like chest up, so we can use. So I got a couple friends that are going to be there. So hopefully we can find a nice white backdrop. They can take some professional photos. And
that's my Jack Black look.
Yeah,
by Jack Black. Is Jack Black and really freaking cool art form, Kevin?
Yeah.
Which I fully expect, but no. Before we hopped on the show, we were talking about just ass kissers.
Ass kissers at jobs. Like I said, it's I was
kissers
telling Care,
ass kissers across the board. I mean, you see it everywhere. I mean, God Almighty, even in this industry, you see ass kissers.
Yeah, and some people think because and it's always the bad employees. Like I was telling Care, I get accused of being an ass kisser or a suck up. It's just a lot of higher ups in my company follow me on social media, so we chat a lot. Like I chat with the president of our company, like, and people are like, why are you talking with him? I'm like, yeah, he's a cigar smoker. He follows my content. He likes what I do. And I had given, reached out to him this past Friday and given some positive affirmation. Like he has a hard job, and we had a lot of changes in this company, and I know he's hearing a lot of like negative. So I don't reach out. Hey, you're doing a good job. I'm happy with the changes. I'm making more money than I ever have, and thank you. And he appreciated the feedback, and and then when other people from corporate come into our store, they don't go up front to see the store manager, service manager. They usually come out and greet me right away. Kevin, what's going on? And they were like, oh, hey, ass kisser. And I'm like, yeah, it's whatever.
Well, let me ask you this. And I think this is the misconception because my brother, God rest his soul, we used to have these conversations too. My brother was always the anti-ass kisser, which is kind of comical because that only works well in the movies or TV shows, right? It never works well in real life. The Dr. House version of I'm just going to tell them like it is. It's like, yes, you are, right to the unemployment line. But I know, like for me, and I'll ask you first. Are you being genuine when you ask these questions? Are you being genuine when you send affirmations? Is it done with an intent to get something in return, or is it just being done because at that moment you felt appreciated? At that moment you felt like you needed to reach out and send that message to somebody? You felt inspired or whatever the case may be. Is it genuine, and do you feel those things?
I do. I said that it's always genuine, and I never do it to get anything in return. If anything, I do it because I complain a lot. Not a lot. Like if something goes wrong, if the company is losing track of its focus, if I feel that the company is losing track of its focus, or we've implemented a new rule, I don't have a problem messaging my higher ups. This is dumb. Let me explain why. And then I'll send them.
Right.
They always have, oh, hey, we thank you for your feedback. We didn't look at it from that point of view. We're still going to continue with this program. Thanks for your thoughts. So I send more of those than I do the other ones. But when something is,
got to sprinkle some petals to cover the smell.
You got to sprinkle some in. But yeah, when someone's doing a good job, because when like a customer writes into the company, hey, so and so, did a good job, or I had a great experience with Kevin, and the company calls you. That makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you're doing your job, because all you do is get shit on so much. Sometimes that you start to question, man, should I look for something else? And so I know that my higher ups see that as well. Shit flows downhill. I'm sure the president of my company gets shit on from the CEO. It's just it's just the way it is. So You know, it's just you never know. Maybe just that one day he just needed, and his response kind of sounded like I needed that. You know, like
Well,
thank
that's
you.
good. I mean, that's good
So,
timing. I send messages to folks I work with on a regular basis, and I send it because I'm being genuine.
yeah,
Genuinely, hey, have a great day. Hey, have a good night. Hey, appreciate all the hard work you're doing. And sometimes even it's messaging the folks that you report to or who are up the ladder a bit. Um, because I don't in the in the words of Bob California from Robert California from what he was interviewing for the management position in the office, he goes, do I really look like I'm the kind of guy who'd waste my time? And so, you know, I'm not going to waste my time, you know, sending something that's not genuine. You know, I think the problem is that there's so much modeling of people who are poor performers, or people who have ulterior motives, or people who are trying to make themselves look better at the expense of others, who end up being labeled the ass kisser. So anytime you see someone doing something kind of it maybe in that vein, you know, everybody gets automatically labeled an ass kisser. And it's because you do have so many folks out there that are that kind of fall in that category. And what they're trying to do is, again, there's listen, I get always, you know, if you got to be nice, I get all that stuff, but you know, the worst type of ass kissing, and I don't even consider it ass kissing, is when you try and build yourself up at the expense of someone else.
yes,
That's weakness to me. You
oh
know,
yeah,
now if you ask me my opinion on someone, I'll tell you, or I'll give you my feedback, and I'm very good at being able to be very cautiously objective about that, you know, because I don't feel it's my place also to give, you know, bad feedback on folks. But I think there's so many folks out there when you hear the complaining, and this, that, the other thing. It's a lot of it is always the distraction to get the attention off me. And I think that's really where that you know that bad rap gets with ass kissing, because there's so many of those folks out there, and it's very rare that you see someone who's just like, listen, I just want to reach out and let you know I'm thinking about you. You know, hope you have a great day. Hope things are going well with the family. Have a great weekend. You know what? You're really working hard for us, and I just want you to know I appreciate it, because you don't know, like you said, if you got the CEO coming down on your manager or whatever, you don't know what kind of shit people. You automatically assume that because they're at a higher level, they're making more money in their life, so freaking is charming.
oh
But you
yeah,
don't know what kind of feedback they're getting. You don't know what they're hearing. You don't know, like you said, if they just need that hear from someone who reports to them that they're doing a good job and they're appreciated. That I think the power of positive affirmation and power of recognition is sadly under underutilized. I think everyone automatically thinks that it's all about the money, and I can tell you, sometimes just hearing, "Hey, you're doing a great job. Keep it going."
that's it. And then and you work into a company where you see emails and you've gotten them, and you can always tell the ass kissers. Oh, you know, it just because I'm privy to some emails that I happen to be looking over my boss's shoulder sometimes, and it'll be like, God, that guy's just going to town, isn't he? He's on his knees fucking writing this writing this email, you know. And it's but yeah, you can definitely tell. Oh, which reminds me, I said we got a an all-store meeting tomorrow, and these are bullshit meetings that nobody really cares about, but we have to attend. So my boss was his boss sent him like the invite for like the all-store meeting, and it says accept or decline, and he's like hovering over like the decline. He goes, I should just decline this. I reach over and I click the mouse and,
Oh my
and
god, that's
declined
horrible.
it and declined it, and I'm like, you're welcome, and then I just left.
Oh, that's
uh
a bad thing. That's a bad
yeah.
thing. So Mike said ass kissers are for current political leaders. It's, I think politics in general is just ass kissing. What are the favorite projects that you guys have worked on? I'm assuming he's referring to cigar projects.
Yeah, you go first. What's been your? You working on anything new lately? I mean, you've got
No, I mean, I think 2025 is one of those reevaluate some lines and maybe some new lines,
yeah,
and I have a few ideas out there. Um, you know, I favorite favorite project that I worked on. I got to tell you, I really enjoyed working on the Big Tony. That was a good because it's named after my dad. Um,
yeah,
the idea of a dark on dark barber pole was was cool. The San Andreas, Mexico San Andreas, and the Habano Maduro wrapper, and working on the flavor profile, working on the look of it. I really enjoyed that both times because I originally worked on that with the Honduras factory. When
yeah.
I first wanted to come out with it, until they
Sadly, it closed, so you had to find.
yeah, yeah. That factory is working perfectly well. But what they did was they ended up taking the blend that I was working on, and it happened to show up elsewhere. And they were not known. The only barber pole they were making was mine, and obviously a dark on dark barber pole. So Quinkadink, I think not, but
Yeah,
um, but that was probably that. And then when I went to Chris's factory in Nicaragua, the Tabacalera Nuevo Nica, working with them on the Big Tony and working with the different Vitolas, especially the 5x56. That was probably the best one because it was being able to work through the different blends. And I think what was really cool was, when I first started working with Chris on our blends, I gave him the tobacco and the blends of the cigars, and I also told him how I wanted them tweaked from what I wasn't really happy with, with the original blends. And he said, "Okay, I'm going to send you that blend. Then I'm going to send you a blend that our person is going to work on, our blender, which is going to use similar tobacco, maybe different percentages. Then I'm going to send you a blend that I kind of have an idea on. It's all going to be the same barber pole." And it was really cool where the best tasting cigar out of all of them was one that that I blended or that I wanted. But I actually did end up going with the one that Chris liked for the Sandela, because it was he definitely found a spice note that was a different level than what I was accomplishing. But that was the most fun.
mine probably has to be non-cigar related. We're getting ready to. I mean, we are launching our Grace O'Malley Pirate Queen cigar March 1st, in time for St. Patrick's Day. But we're also launching March 1st our Irish Beard Balm. We're bringing our beard care company back after a couple of year hiatus. I think I'm perfectly poised to where I am in the cigar community to maybe hit a niche that isn't fully fulfilled, in beard care. So I'm excited.
Nice.
I'm excited for that. It's I got out of it because of a knee injury, and then just an overload of companies, just everybody wants to make beard stuff. That was like a whole big thing, for a while, going back to like 2018 was probably the height of the beard. Everybody had one, everybody wanted one, and everybody jumped in on the industry. So
and a lot of people know with your knee injury, there's a lot of heavy carrying of beard balm.
Yeah, because I make it in house. I make every single tin by hand. None of it's automated. There's nothing. It's measuring, pouring, cooking.
You're not having somebody make it. You're actually, when I said heavy lifting, it's like the whole project. Everything you do is done by hand. You're doing it. So when you're laid up and your knees freaking strapped to a freaking, two sticks and you can't move, your ability to maneuver and work through that process is so negotiated. You appreciate just how much, the knee is needed.
Yeah. And it was a good time to get out of the industry. Like I said, it was just crowded, and then, which I never stopped making it. I have a beard, so I've always made it for myself, so when it was time to get back into it, it's not like I had to learn how to do anything again. I have material on hand. I have everything. We just redesigned our stickers and our packaging,
Right.
and then that's it. So we're golden. So
Nice.
super excited. So hopefully the industry responds and buys some. And let's see, are you staying with the Irish Pyatt for your neck, or do you want to do some Scottish ones? I'm Irish, so I it makes sense. For me, when people hear the story and then the press release, you'll kind of understand a little bit, because it's just not a cigar with a name. There is a true story behind Grace O'Malley. She was a real person, part of my Irish heritage. So, that I think it just makes it a little bit more real. So
how did you dig that up? How did you dig that up? Like, how did you come across? I mean, everybody has their inspirations for naming a cigar and stuff. So obviously, how did you come to that conclusion, and how did you dig up Grace O'Malley and the Kevin Shahanand family lineage?
I do not have a clue. It's been so long now. We've been working on this. I've sat back and thought about that same question, Kerr, because I knew somebody was going to ask me, and I didn't think it was going to be you, my co-host, out of the blue. Thought, I'd give me some time to come up with a story, that I could tell everybody. But I have no idea how I found Grace O'Malley, the famous Irish pirate queen, and her.
So you say that you need more time to make up a fucking great story, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So fair enough.
Yeah. I don't know. No idea how I found her, but once I did, I delved into her history, her family, and it was just so cool. Just thinking about the waters that she plied her ships were the same waters that Cornelia Shahan set sail in to leave Ireland and come to Jamaica, the Caribbean, who at that time, I mean, he came here at the height of piracy. And I just, think about the cool, the things that he must have seen. And, and like I said, it definitely wasn't the movies. It wasn't swashbucklers and music playing, and it was probably disgusting.
Well, from what I remember when you told me this, it was Halloween and Jessica was dressed like a pirate, and you said, "Damn, I need to have a cigar, Jessica, because you've inspired me for a female pirate because you look so badass. You look so." Jessica's really the inspiration for it. That's what you got to go with, dude. You got to go.
That
with
was my yeah. Then I could have he's like, "Oh, you're my Irish queen," and then, "No, you're my pirate queen." I'm like, "Oh, I wonder if there's any Irish pirate queens." And then, that'd have been a good. See, we don't talk before these shows, people. We don't come up with that.
But then but then it's a great story for the smokers, and then it also gains you a couple of extra for good credit points with Jessica.
That's it. And then plus I can make it up now, because like I said, it's a pirate themed cigar. Nothing you can that a pirate tells you can trust. So I just what I'll do is I'll come up with like 6 stories. I'll tell a different one each time.
Try and pin down the origin story.
Yeah. Everybody's like, "No, that's not what I heard." Yeah.
Kevin, it'll be like a you're gonna sound like a congressman being questioned during a hearing. You didn't say that the last time. You said it was Thursday, not a Tuesday. Yeah, because they both begin with T's. So close. Yeah. That's great. But yeah, I think that'd be a great story. You got to build on that, Kevin. That's when you get to kill a couple of birds with one stone, or as the more PETA-friendly term is, feed 2 birds with 1 scone.
Oh, there you go. I like that. So
just trying to help.
What's going on, Chad? So
I got to ask.
Go ahead.
No, please.
No, go ahead. I don't have. I just
have you seen what the internet is ablaze over at Facebook and everything regarding the booing of the national anthem during the hockey game?
A friend of mine is doing some photos for me for the beard balm, lives in Canada, and he apologized earlier. He sent me a picture because he also drives a snowplow, and he sent me a picture from the snowplow, and it's like 8 feet of snow and whatnot. And he goes, really sorry, man. I'll get these photos to you. This weather is crazy. And I just replied, that's what you get for booing our national anthem. And,
oh my God. That's crazy. I saw the clips, and
yeah.
First of all, I think the funniest one is, them comparing the all-star games for football and basketball. And it's like, here you have the big four, play, games with Canada, U.S., Finland, and is it I almost said Ireland, the strong hockey country.
I don't know who the fourth
Denmark
is. Is it?
I know it's Finland, because I think they got 4 nations. That's what it's called. Finland.
Yeah, it's 4. Yeah.
I think it might be. Is it Denmark? I don't know. But anyways, I got it within the first 9 seconds, 3 fights.
That's great.
And here's the crazy part: 2 of the guys are brothers for the U.S. team. So the first guy who got in a fight is his last name's Tachuk, and he got in a fight. Then his brother, Sweden. There you go. Thank you, Jennifer, my fact checker. The second fight was the brother Tachuk. Sorry. Their father played hockey. And their father played hockey. He played for the Coyotes. And they interviewed him. He's like, yeah, they're both as crazy as I am. And then they did I saw a video, a flashback of when he played for the U.S. They played Canada, and he got in a fight with Claude Lemieux during the Canadian.
Oh,
US.
really?
Yeah. So a very spirited family, the Tachuk family is. But when I saw that the first 9 seconds had 3 fights, and then they came back, scored 3 goals, and apparently after every goal they play free bird.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. That's what I heard. I didn't see any. I need to do a little bit more looking it up, but yeah. I mean, I get it. You're probably not happy with the president. A lot of the shit he's saying, so you boo, but you got to boo the person, not the country or the national anthem. And when you're in that environment, and hockey's known for ice and fighting, you better be able to fight really well, because I guarantee you got to piss some folks off.
Yeah, I was just watching a video earlier about about the tariffs and everything else, and well, first of all, Mike, I only buy flags. There's one company in the U.S. that still makes flags. I only buy U.S. made flags. If it doesn't say where it was made, I don't buy it. In oil in like the Alberta, like out west, the oil fields, and they're concerned about that because the oil has to come to the U.S. first before it goes back to Canada, into the eastern part of Canada, because they're bitching about Trudeau canceled this pipeline that would leave the oil in Canada, and so it didn't have to come to the U.S. first and then go back, which is absolutely insane.
That's crazy
in my opinion. But what I love, I've been absolutely loving that, whether you like what's going on in politics or anything else, whether you like Doge, you're against it because it's cutting whatever. I love that I have been seeing a ton of videos from lawmakers, policymakers, residents in other countries digging deep, and now they're asking questions. And I'm seeing, hey, we just spent 19, and a lot of it's in the UK. We just spent 19 million pounds to produce a kids show in Uganda. Like, is this the best use of our money when we're paying 45% tax, and you're talking about raising the tax again? Inheritance tax. People can't leave their house to their kids because it's a 50% inheritance tax. And he goes, is this where? And then, but you're seeing it in everywhere: Australia, Scotland, everywhere, Germany. And I'm loving it. I'm loving that people are asking questions now about where our money is going.
Well, I think it's kind of like, shame on us. We get a little tired, no one, and you don't have anybody, in that position that could really kind of shake the trees, right? I mean, again, whatever your political ideology is aside, it's always kind of better and easier, simpler to rally behind someone who's in a political position that can ask those questions and actually get something done. Again, like them or not, it doesn't confront me. It's that simple. And then when you start seeing the results, like you said, at what point do you start going, okay, there's other countries that are going to be like, whoa, hold on for a second here. So they just found out where all that waste was. I think we need to kind of take a step in that direction. So I agree with you. It is pretty interesting to see. It's amazing to see the criticism that occurs here in the United States, over our tax money, that people are kind of, I mean, as well as I do, I heard somebody use this as a comparison, and this is pretty funny. It's just like when you catch, it's like the girl who goes through, or guy going through your partner's phone and finding out that they're cheating on you. And then when you confront them, they get defensive that they can't trust you because you went through their phone.
Yeah, that's gaslighting.
But anyway, but yeah, I'm sure it is. But that is, I heard that analogy. I'm like, well, God Almighty, that's really. It's like it now becomes about trust. Can't trust you. You looked at my phone. How dare you? It's a violation of our trust. It's like, hey, you're cheating. You're cheating. I caught you cheating. Yeah, but you only found out because but you're cheating. And it's like you want to quickly redirect. So you see a lot of these folks are redirecting the conversation. It raises an eyebrow. The other thing, more simply put, and to your point, Kev, when you see other countries starting to fall in and do the exact same thing, that's another big flag that this might not be a bad thing. I think this might be a good thing,
Yeah, and every day, one of my friends or somebody will I see personally or in a text. Do you see what they're doing today? They're cutting Medicaid for whatever this, and they're cutting this. And I'm like, I didn't see that. I go, can you send me an article? Let me know where let me just check it out. And then they're like, no, that's just what they're saying now. And it's just, yeah, I know, and it's just, and I know some things that are going to get cut that shouldn't get cut. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. And I'm hoping if it does, it gets reversed quickly. And the people that are in need are in the most need get the help, the resources that they need. And I know it's like pulling a Band-Aid off really quickly. You're going to get some of the scab to come with it that should have stayed, but I don't know. It just every day, it's just getting, I don't,
well,
it's getting frustrating.
I think it's also it's indicative of the old saying, don't kill the messenger. I mean, the one thing that everybody should know or does know or should know is that when these, and some of this other stuff isn't even approved or bills are passed, but you see a lot of bills that are passed and they always put a really pretty name on it, the Cure for Childhood Cancer Act, and they'll push it through, and then they'll be like, "Whoa, these guys over here, they voted against it. They must really not want to cure childhood cancer." And then the news agencies run with it, and they go, "Well, hold on, 80% of that bill, or 90% of that bill, of the spending on that bill, was going to things other than research for childhood cancer. If you could give it a pretty name, and you could put a percentage of those monies going towards that particular cause. But that's where they call it pork, is they stuff these bills and these acts. And what they do is, it's a good way, like we talked before, hey, I got a good donor over here, and they need about $3 million. I'll get $3 million out of this donor. I need these people over here, they supported me. We'll give them about $5 million to make some mirrors that reflect the sunlight into the house, so I don't have to use electricity. And that's what ends up happening. So when that happens, and you realize that there's a $50 million bill, maybe 10, 15 million of it's going towards the right cause. You just can't go, well, let's just keep the good part and get rid. No, you got to get rid of all of it. So you should be really pissed off at the lawmakers who wrote that bill, presented that bill, and got it passed. Because eventually, to your point, you're going to have to go back. You're going to have to revisit a lot of the good things that are in a lot of these, a lot of this legislation, and you're going to have to rebuild it again. You're going to have to make sure this money goes to the right cause, goes to the right people, the people who really need it most. Unfortunately, I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. The one thing is very common amongst both of the parties is greed and power, and that's what they use these things for. So if you completely miss that point, then you're living in an echo chamber. You just want to hear what you want to hear about your particular political party. It's best to be highly critical of everybody who is in office in some sort of a position where they can take your money, spend your money, and tell you what you can and cannot do.
Yeah, and I try and tell people, I said, a lot of these executive orders don't mean anything. A lot of these cannot get passed without a bill through Congress, so it's for show. There's nothing that can get done, and just, but it was the same, like, I've been hearing that the last 2 days. He's overriding these judges. He's not paying attention, and I'm like, just like Biden didn't pay attention to the Supreme Court when they said the student loan thing he couldn't do. He went around that. I'm like, nobody's bringing that shit up. So, but yeah, it's just, we tell her it's only been 24 days, 28 days, whatever it is. We got to give some time. Got to let it work through the system. It's just coming out of the gate swinging. He'll get tired. He'll slow down. We'll work this through the courts. We'll work this through Congress. We need to take a deep breath. I was accused, what happens when your taxes are going to go up this year? I know I've already talked to my accountant. Like, there's nothing going on, well, they're going to go up next month because you're not in the 1%. And I'm like, that's a new term. If I start hearing the 1%, you're not in the 1%. Yeah, but I got a good accountant, and he takes care of things,
Yeah.
And, but yeah.
If we're over the 1%, I would not be talking to you. So
yeah.
And I mean, there's also talk about them doing away with the income tax if they can really kind of get things back to the way it was prior to 1913, something like that, where when the origins of the income tax, everything else was paid for by tax and tariffs and such, and then it was like, well, we're going to go ahead and do a flat 3% tax and a flat 5% tax. And as you know, that story has now morphed to the point where, companies are taxed, God, what is it? It used to be well over 30-some%. That's why so many companies want to go elsewhere. They can save billions of dollars just, by going 5% lower or such, going from the US to Ireland, or going from, the US to Canada. I mean, that Tim Horton bought out Burger King. It was like, let's get you out of here, bring you up here. We'll make some money. So I think it just boils down to just, I hate that I say this, because I was saying it well before, this administration was using it. It's common sense. I mean, it really does boil down to a simple arithmetic and some common sense. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. I think if you are in that lane that just hates everything that's done that a specific person does, even if it's good, then the problem isn't that person. The problem is you. I may not like someone, but if they come up with the cure for cancer, the cure for AIDS, or they come up with a great freaking budget that will freaking have everyone here in the United States elevate and everybody freaking bring home more money, I don't care if I like you or not, I'm gonna be happy, because that's you shouldn't have to like, especially politicians,
I'm waiting for the two things, which I think one of them is going to get accomplished this year. We're going to abolish daylight saving time. So that's going to be done by the end of this year. I really think what's that?
That big topic of yours.
It is. It's on top of my list. I hate that shit. So, so I think they're finally going to ratify that this year, because enough, like 18 states have already passed bills, including us here in Florida. So we just need Congress to act. Marco Rubio was a big one. You know, he's a big guy now. So I think that's going to get passed. And I think I'm going to say by the end of Trump's presidency, I think we have a chance of getting a flat tax. I think we have a chance of abolishing the IRS, because then there's no more anything. You pay
No more
taxes.
write-offs, no more loopholes.
There's no, well, I mean, for businesses, there would still be, obviously, right, because we're taxed at a different level.
Yeah, I'm not there.
Than on the personal side. So
Personal
businesses side will still have to pay. And then if you have a great deal of medical expenses, I'm sure there might be something where you could still file some kind of and get. I don't know, but yeah, I say make they're talking like 18% tax on everything. Yeah, it'll suck to begin with, because even food will be taxed. But we'll get used to it because, there's none of that shit taken out of our paychecks. Well, this will be,
Yeah, I mean, they'll get it elsewhere. Obviously, if you're paying and if you spend more, if you have, the whole idea is, you make more money, you spend more money, and then, you get taxes that way. They'll definitely stop people migrating from New York and other areas to go into Pennsylvania where they can buy clothing and stuff like that from, that are tax free. So that will definitely help and stimulate your local economy, one would think. At least in some way, shape, or form, have an impact. Maybe not stimulate's too powerful a word. It may actually, have an impact on your local economy. It'll be interesting because, like I said, I heard the removal of income tax, flat tax. I think with the move, like you said, the move of really trimming down the IRS and there is going to be a byproduct of that. I agree with you. And it is going to be interesting. The other part too is going to be interesting, Kev. And here at the Puff and Ponder podcast show, this is where conversations ignite, and this conversation is being laid out to ignite. Kind of a conversation that impacts everyone. Doesn't matter who you voted for, right? And that is, how are you going to be able to unring that bell? Okay, there's a lot of these things that are going on right now that are all executive orders. Every president does it. It's like, hey, executive order. If you're there for 4 years, first day, the new president comes in and says, I'm undoing all that crap. Okay, great. If it's laws, completely different. It's just not, a 4 or 8 year influence or impact. If someone else from your party takes over, you just say, in 4 years, Trump and JD Vance runs and he wins, and obviously it's sustainable, but it's not going to be sustainable long term. It's not going to have long term sustainability unless they actually change these things and really flip them into law. I think the problem is once you see any executive order that from any president, right? Once you see it work, especially when you're talking about things like income, because I don't care who you are, everyone's going to agree if it's like, oh man, I get to save some money. The problem is going to be you can't unring that bell. So if someone comes in and they start changing things around, it could be political suicide. I mean, we've seen that happen, just numbers alone, when Biden came in and they did away with all of the immigration policies that were all executive orders. And then we've seen how that freaking spun out of control. So I think when you and that is something that's always one of those, I think that is a statistic that could also enter the spin zone of politics and can be spun when it comes to the numbers of crossings and stuff. When you're talking about money, you talk about taxes. If a big move is made and if it's not law and if it is done through an executive order, if it can be done through an executive order, man, that's a tough show to follow, bro.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a tough show to follow, man. That's you're gonna come back and listen here, Kevin. You know that bill that passed that freaking gave you an extra freaking $20,000 a year? Yeah, I'm doing away with that. That wasn't fair.
That's it. So Mike, you're actually you're watching the wrong show. So once a month we do the I Tap That Cigar show, which we used to do every week, and that is our cigar related show. That's all we talk about is cigars. We get into a little bit of topics, but here on the Puff and Ponder podcast, which we do each week, we just talk about whatever's going on in our lives. Like I said, we talked about earlier, ass kissing. We talk about cigars. We talk about hockey. We talk about politics. We're not promoting one side of the aisle or the other. Like I said earlier, things I'm getting tired of hearing every single day. And I just bring it up. I don't think once Karen and I have really promoted our views, we just kind of ask questions, see what everybody else is thinking. Say Trump isn't a fan of tobacco. Why are you hopeful? Because he's also not a fan of regulation. So he's not a fan of alcohol either. And we haven't seen any indications that he wants to get rid of tobacco, alcohol, firearms, and other big ones. He wants people to enjoy their own liberties because we do live in a free country. So we haven't seen that yet, that he wants to get rid of anything that we hold true.
Especially regulations. I think some of the issues we may end up seeing is when it comes to that may have an impact on the business is some of the policies with countries like Nicaragua.
Yeah. We're gonna.
That's not tobacco related. That is country related.
Yeah, there are things that I don't like. That he's done. There's things that I understand. People in the cigar industry are outraged that he put Cuba back on this list, and people like, oh, you need to open Cuba up, and you need to do this. And I tell those people, now that I've been to Cuba, go to Cuba and find out if your thoughts change on whether we should open that up.
Yeah, money's not going to the community.
Yeah, people working for $20 a month, and it has nothing to do with U.S.-Cuba relations. After my stay in Cuba, my only thought was that they can't. If we opened up trade and we this country can't survive. It'll never survive. An open trade agreement, people flooding in, they don't have the infrastructure. They don't have any of this. Cuba was an amazing place. Walking down the street at midnight, 1 a.m. And you feel like you're in the safest place in the world because it's that dictatorship. They do not allow crime. They don't allow this. And I go, what happens if this is inundated? I go, this is ripe for crime, ripe for extortion, the mafia, whatever, to come in. I go, it'll destroy this place. So
Mike's asked his older brother died from alcohol. I think Kevin said it best and we've done this across the board. We don't promote a politics. We don't promote a political view or a political side. And we talk about whatever we want to talk about. Kevin's point, there has been no current indication that there is going to be any type of impact on tobacco specifically, or alcohol. It doesn't mean that it won't, but it doesn't mean that it will. You have to take a look at what's going on right now. Plus, you also got to take a look at what is heavily promoted, and it is the promotion of free trade, the promotion of business, et cetera, et cetera. Alcohol is a mainstay in America. We will do away with the Winston Cup finals because it's cigarettes, but we will be more than happy to have a absolute vodka, whatever here and there. But
Monster Energy.
Energy. I mean, yeah, horrible. But I mean, I don't think it has anything to do, with that. I mean, I think that is something that is going to be discussed when it's discussable. Right now, it's discussing that would be discussing theories or even trying to draw dotted lines. If they did this and they did that, they did this, and they're going to have to do that. And I think that's where a lot of the anxiety comes from, right? That's where all the angst and all the conspiracy theories come from. Is you start peeling back this onion, and you keep trying to peel back to get to to get to what you want it to be. And eventually you will get to where you want it to be because you will follow that path that leads you to where you want it to be. And it's a lot of times it's not the right path. So,
I'm concerned about regulations, and it affects, certain regulation. It affects our household. We have 2 children, Gabriella, autism, Wyatt's got Down syndrome. They're in these programs at school. Gabby graduated, but she's actually gets to stay in high school for another 2 or 3 years. Same with Wyatt. When he graduates this year, he'll get to stay in school for the next 2 or 3 years, and they teach them life skills. They take them out, and to work jobs for a couple hours here and there to get, jobs that they're going to be able to do. The schools are trying to, to cut that, so there's always programs like that are being cut. Jessica is a great advocate. That's what she did for a long time, for special needs advocate. She has done a great job, and she is constantly battling these cuts. But so yeah, we keep an eye on what programs are being cut, because like I said, these can affect my children. So yeah, it's it sucks, but we'll get through it, and we got to hope for the best. We can't just rely on the media that keeps saying they're cutting this, they're cutting this, they're cutting this. It's already done. And then nothing has been done. No bill is passed. Someone's stroke a pen, that doesn't mean anything on an executive order, so it's the fear mongering, that I get, irritated hearing, of every day.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's a matter of just, like you said, hoping for XYZ, but some things you just gotta wait and let it play out. I mean, I do think that there's a lot that they're uncovering, and I think that with the intent to do right by the American people, they need to slow down a little bit. I understand that listen, when you look at where we are in debt, and you're trying to cut money, you're trying to cut wasteful spend. I get it, I understand it, but some things you do need to slow down a little bit. Especially when it comes to eliminating or firing or terminating. They just fire a bunch of nuclear people, and then they had to rehire them back and bring them back in again because they didn't realize they didn't have enough to oversee the nuclear warheads or what have you. Or I kind of read something briefly on it, so I can't really dive in deep into it. But I mean, if that kind of stuff is happening, that's the byproduct of it. Maybe some of these things you do need to slow down. And it doesn't mean it's got to stop. It just means that let's measure twice and cut once.
Yeah, I agree. And there's other things that we don't know about. You're talking about firing the inspectors general. I don't know. We don't, that's all we hear. He fired these people, and we don't, and obviously we don't know why, because he didn't say why. We don't know what goes on at some of these agencies, the greed, the corruption, USAID, just some of the corruption that they're producing it's just out of control, where the, FEMA,
Oh. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's a lot of, you don't know how deep the corruption is. You don't know how deep these leaks go. And that's the problem, is a lot of the leaks and a lot of issues that they have. So here's Mike's question to you.
Yeah, we are worried. We are, but I know Jessica and I are in a place to where we can accommodate that. We can figure it out. There are, for every one of us, there are 10,000 parents that can't, that
right.
rely on that. So I just have hope, that these kids that need these services, that need these like job services skills, that it won't get cut. I just have, but I can't live in fear every day just because I keep hearing every day on the news, oh, they're cutting this, and there hasn't been a bill introduced. There's been no even executive order. There's just nothing. It's just this, someone said, the head of this department oh, we're going to cut this. Well, when it finally gets to Congress and they have to introduce a bill, it's like, oh, hey, you can't cut that. It's I can't live in fear every single day. We just have to have hope that our leaders that we elect, Democrat and Republican, can find common ground and, protect the ones that need the protection the most. And
I also think it's important to take that, like you said, that information, I saw, they made the announcement about, Elon Musk had a government contract, $600 million for armored, SUVs, and they present it this way, but the reality of it is like, no, that was under Biden, and
Rachel Maddow got called out for that,
and Trump cut it. So it's like, again, don't be in such a hurry to report the news because it's going to be what you want it to be.
It always goes back to Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say one of the byproducts I'd really like to see occur is putting a lot of this responsibility back on the states. The federal government is here for specific jobs, specific roles. And you can't complain about the federal government being big brother in one area and then being okay with it in another area. I've seen so many different programs cut: Medicaid, therapy, special education, all these things being cut at the state level, and everyone's so focused on the presidency that they lose sight of what's going on locally and what's going on in their state, and that could be largely devastating, and could impact you directly. But then what they'll want to do is they'll want to pin it on someone else. And this isn't even talking about Trump. This is years ago, in Pennsylvania, when they were just cutting everything for mental health. And they were cutting, they were closing mental health hospitals. They were completely eliminating any contractual stuff, for individuals that were, like my brother was a therapist and worked at the prison system, and he was a contracted, person who would go in there. So he'd make X amount of money per year from the state to go in because that facility didn't have enough therapists to provide the therapy that the inmates needed. Well, they cut the program. Well, now he's out of a contract, so he's got to take a pay cut. You have inmates in this facility that's not getting the therapy that they need. And that's really where I think, a lot of our focus is always, especially during these times, and I've been promoting this for forever and a day, is focus on your local. They think globally, act locally. There's a lot of truth to that. Really focus on what's going on in your local community. Focus on what's going on in your city, in your town, your neighborhood, what's going on in your state, because that's the stuff that's really going to impact you, really, mostly on your day-to-day life.
Yeah, you talk about locally, like I said, the issue we're having with our kids in the school right now, it's coming down to a school issue, a principal, a singular person, and then once Jessica's been diving deeper into this isn't a county issue. This isn't a budget issue with the county, the city, the county, the state, the government. This is a local, there's a very localized issue that we're having. And there are people that, I don't know all the other parents and everything else, but they could blow this up. And then at this point, you see what the government's doing now. These kids lost their program, and then when you dig a little deeper and you're like, no, this had nothing to do with the county. This had nothing to do with the state. This had nothing to do with the federal government. This was on a city level, a singular school level. So yeah, it's I tell people, you always got to do your own research, man. Kerry, you've said it 100 times on this show and our other show. You got to do your own research. You can't just,
do not be a TikToker. Because do not follow your belief system off of a TikTok video.
Because I could tell you, I could tell you, this is what I'm going through personally. Donald Trump cut this program, and my kids can't. And that's hard for you to research. You can't. It'd be almost impossible for the average person to research what happened to the special ed kids in my high school, you know, so you have to believe me. And then you're going to tell that story. Oh, Kevin from Cigar Prop, his kids, President Trump cut the funding for the school, and his kids don't have this program anymore.
You know what I heard?
And you
know what I heard? And actually, no, I'm saying that you know what I heard?
Oh,
I heard
yeah.
Kevin.
Oh,
Kevin. And
yeah.
So there's a couple of different spins here, Mike, about that $500 million of food, you know, rotting. Everything I've found so far has said that it was about to go bad, and it was at risk. So unless there's breaking news that $500 million worth of food that's spoiled, a lot of it is that it was at risk because of the cuts, and it was about to, or whatever the case may be. So you know, I always tell my kids all the time, I don't care what side of the fence you're on, I don't care what you believe, what political stance you take, just promise me you'll do a couple of things. One is, more importantly, always respect yourself, always respect the people who you work with and that believe in the same thing you believe in, but more importantly, be respectful of the people who oppose what you believe. Number two, if you're going to believe in something, make sure that you educate yourself fully on everything that you stand for. Just don't be kind of a surface person, and I'm going to look at here. If you're a PETA person, I have more respect for you if you dig in deep and your beliefs are grounded. Thirdly, and most importantly, educate yourself on the opposing view. Talk to people who have opposing views. That's a problem with today's society. You know, this really, didn't turn into a political conversation. It turns into a communication conversation where conversations ignite. Well, have a conversation with someone who has an opposing view. Don't go in with an open mind. Don't go in wanting to disagree with them, or don't go in wanting to prove your point. Go in listening to learn, because you're going to find a couple of things. One, you're going to learn something that you didn't know. Two, you're going to have a better understanding of their position and probably have more respect for why they believe what they believe, even though it's against what you believe. And thirdly, you're probably going to have a lot more respect from. You're going to leave that conversation not convinced to change your mind, but you're going to understand, and that's going to provide empathy. So now it may influence your belief, or it may have some sort of a different, it may impact your viewpoint. Now, that's why I love cigar lounges, is because we have conversations with one another, and all this political crap is to the wayside, and you actually get to know people. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what income bracket you're in. It doesn't matter what your religion is. It doesn't matter what your background is. What matters is the cigar you're smoking. You start having a conversation. Why do you like it? What is it? What does it taste like? And then you inevitably start talking about family. And then you find out that you have more commonality. You have more common things. You have more things in common with one another than you do differences. Now, when you start out of the gate with politics and all this other bullshit, you're going to it's differences out of the gate. But if you sit down with a great cigar, hang out with someone, go and engage someone who's you don't know, and have a conversation about the cigar they're smoking, start talking about family, you're going to find out that you have more in common than you do differences. And that is really where differences are made.
Exactly. I used to love my local cigar lounge before, I mean, I don't know, the owners just they're really weird and kind of drove everybody. But there were so many times that we'd go in, there'd be a dozen of us guys every day, that would go in there. And, we had doctors, we had lawyers, mechanics, lawn care Dave, sea captains, Tug, we had, preacher Joe, and just everybody from every, like we'd be like 4 or 5 hours deep into a conversation, and we're like, sometimes we would try and backtrack, and we'd trace it back to like how the hell did we, or why the hell are we talking about this? And then we're like, okay. And then we're like, okay, so we're talking about this because Joe had mentioned this because we were talking to Dave about this. And then you go back, and then you try and figure out how the hell any of this started. And we'd have some just amazing conversations. And Mike,
I disagree with that. Oh, sorry, Kevin.
Yeah.
I think we both went to click it up at the same time. Go ahead.
Yeah, this isn't a politics strong show. We just kind of talk about what's in the news lately. It's been, I mean, I think this is the longest we've ever talked about politics, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I think it's more
Yeah.
general. It's more generalized than anything. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna avoid. I'm not gonna avoid talking about serious things that impact everyday people and kind of what if there's any information out there that's false or anything like that. I think that's what the idea behind the show is just to have a conversation about whatever is going on. And obviously, if we trace this all the way back a little bit, trace back to the fact that those damn Canadians booed the national anthem, and the Chuk brothers, they started throwing down gloves and landing fist to face.
That's it. And then I think we talked about the pipeline.
Yeah, yeah.
I avoid conversations, religion, politics, get to someone and they can have an intelligent conversation. Same thing. I work with people. I work with guys and girls. I just know which ones we can't talk about politics. We can't talk about religion, because we just don't see, I'm open. I can have an intelligent conversation, which I with anybody, I can see, but there are some people that can't, so just like, I just avoid those topics with some people. Like, oh, hey, did you see the Pope did this? Oh, hey, that's cool, man. Did you see the hockey game last night? Those guys got beat up, just change the subject right away. And cause you can't have a conversation.
Well, usually you can probably tell pretty quickly a couple minutes into whatever they're saying.
Oh yeah, the whole vaccine thing. A guy I work with,
pull out diagram of fucking facts, and it's just not going to matter.
Oh yeah, the guy I work with. Hey, they create those vaccines from dead babies, right? And I go, wait, what? Yeah, dead babies. I'm like, all right, let's talk about this car we're working on. So what do you got? What do you got going on? You need help with that die? I'm not.
They got
this
big.
there.
You got this big blender in New Jersey. That's what they use.
Yeah.
Listen. It's you really can't. So why pretend? I don't understand what that means, Mike. You're speaking in riddles right now. You're speaking in parables. But yeah, I mean that's why this conversation I think was a pretty good one because I did pull it back to cigar lounges because that is really where you meet a diverse group of individuals and some of the best conversations. I mean, we're getting ready. We're going to see Will this Friday. He's coming down to Greenville.
What shop?
Yeah.
What shop's he coming to?
Boda Cigar.
Oh, Boda. Oh, right on.
Yeah. So, yeah. We're going to see Will. Going to go check out and support our man Will from Drew Estate. Always love seeing him. He is one of the nicest, most genuinely kind individuals I've had the pleasure to meet in this industry.
He is. When Graham was up at Fort Bragg, which is now back to Fort Bragg, not Fort Liberty. So, and we went up there. We at an event he was at, and then afterwards, I reach out to Will. I'm like, hey, Graham is going to be up there now, living up there, with the military, and he's like, he doesn't pay for cigars anymore. Anything he needs, cigars, or just make sure anything he needs that you guys can't. And like he has my number. You call, you have him call me. This is my area. It's like, reach out, said, hey, your son is safe up here. He's got someone that's got his back. And I still remember that text, and that was just like the greatest thing. Like he didn't have to do that. No. I mean, you could give him some cigars, but that's Will. Like you said, I mean, you definitely gonna feel safe when Will's got your back. Yeah. That's it. He's a big dude, if you want someone. So super cool. I get to see Pedro in a couple weeks. I haven't seen Pedro in a while. Cigar Circus, Ryan Gallimore opening up his new lounge. Right. The big cigar circus is coming up. Yeah. Did you see my ticket that I got? Did you see the picture I posted? No. So for the event. So yeah, Brian, I see your message. I'll tell you what, man. There's nothing better than talking to a good conspiracy theorist. I swear to God, man. What's funny is I find myself almost being holy shit. That's great, man. That is my ticket. You got to turn it around. It's upside down. Oh, is it upside down? Yeah, you got the freaking state of Florida
Looking like a
Cigar, or
freaking
maybe-
butt
maybe-
plug
maybe-
versus
maybe-
a.
There we go.
There we go. Holy shit. That's cool, man.
So-
How'd you get that?
Ryan, as far as I know, every single person that bought a ticket to this grand opening, that's the ticket they get.
What?
That's your ticket to the event is your own personalized numbered sign
No
for this
shit.
event.
That's fucking
Yeah.
great. Do you have to take it? That's gonna suck.
You know, yeah. I should take it and I should walk in like, do you tear this? Which half do I get?
What you gotta do is put it in your wallet, and when you go for your ticket, go. I can't remember where I put this thing.
Yeah, I should. If it wasn't such a cool sign, I would have my laser guy like cut it in half perfectly, so when I mount it, you can't tell, and then just like, hey, I already tore this for you. Which side do you get? But yeah, he's got a.
That'd be great.
I mean, Boston Jimmy's going to be there. Pedro from Drew Estate. Miguel Shodell from Crown Heads. Mike Rosales from Roma Craft is going to be there. And then we actually get to do, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but we're actually doing a private barbecue dinner at a restaurant with him the next day. So super cool, like 12 to 15 people. Same thing we did when Saka was in town. So there's going to be a fantastic event.
You gotta take it with. You gotta take it like literally, like shove it in your wallet, like put your wallet around it. Just be like, I don't know where this damn freaking car. This is.
I should.
Name, right?
Yeah.
You got my name right because I don't know where I put it in my wallet. I could have sworn I put it in here.
I should. I'm gonna do that and then have Jessica take a picture like wrapped in my wallet. So that's going to be a super. There's still tickets available. Cigar Circus. Check them out here in Florida. It's a Cigar Circus is the name of the new lounge. So not this Saturday.
What's on your fucking ticket, Kev? That big freaking sign.
Next Saturday. I don't know. Now it's backwards. But it's not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Because this Saturday I got my daughter's gender reveal party for my grandbaby.
Oh, so nice. That's exciting.
So yes, Cigar Circus next weekend,
March 1st.
And then 2 weekends after that, Big Smoke meets Whiskey Fest. Jessica and I are going back again. The fine folks at Quesada Cigars asked us to be their VIP guest at the Hard Rock Casino for Big Smoke meets Whiskey, Big Smoke meets Whiskey Fest. So that'll be another great show. But yeah, gender reveals. These kids care. Got a big gender reveal party.
Gosh, I hope they do something simple.
I know it's elaborate. Yeah, it's
why?
Well, they don't know yet. Even my daughter doesn't know. So because my daughter is a like a neonatal nurse, so she works in labor delivery. She delivers babies. When she got her last report, the doctors knew that she didn't want to know. So they were supposed to leave that out of the report. So as she was reading, she instantly put it down because she knew that it was about to tell her the gender. So another friend of hers, that's a nurse in the same hospital, gave it to her, I guess, and be like, hey, read through the rest of this, or whatever, cut it out. But yeah, she almost accidentally found out. So she's
so do you know how they're going to do the gender reveal?
From what I understand, it's some kind of Vegas theme with like gambling. I don't know how like the ultimate reveal is going to be done, like how we're going to find out.
You don't know what you don't know what source of
popping the balloon.
Yeah,
I don't know
where the source of the pink or blue. You don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's going to be a little girl. They're hoping for they're hoping for anything, but they're leaning towards boy. So because
maybe
it's
like a slot machine, right? Slot machine.
Yeah.
And it'll come up
that
like penis, penis, then blue shoots out the freaking top.
Oh, that'd be good. So, but yeah,
or just baby, and then the color shoots at the top. It's gonna be kind of a dead giveaway after that first one.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So
it'd be tough to freaking get a vagina and get that.
Yeah.
Process.
Yeah.
But I think a little baby, and then poof, the color pops out the top.
That'd be good. I think it's a little too late to be planning that because it's only a few days away. So
Well, you know,
hopefully
people.
they have something
You know
cool
people.
because I told them, I said I would be videoing it on my phone, and either way, it's going online. But if it's horrible and it goes wrong, you know, you're going to get more views than if it goes right.
Yeah, it's definitely going online no matter what happens.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm super excited. My daughter, like I said, working in labor and delivery, something that's, this kid was absolutely planned. They wanted to make sure their careers were in order, and they're having a kid, and
nice.
And now she'll understand a little bit more of what these women go through. If you don't have kids of your own, I guess it's sometimes hard to relate. Yeah, I ask Amber all the time, like, do you just tell these women to suck it up? It's probably not that bad, And it's just like, I go, now you're about to find out, like, oh my God, this is what you all been going through. This is horrible.
That's hilarious. This is her first one, right?
Yeah, this is her first one.
Okay,
Yeah.
so for some reason, I know you have other grandkids, and for some reason I thought you had one, but see, Mike told us earlier that we should not be talking about politics, and we're not, but he keeps talking about politics. So, Mike, everybody else has my damn personal tax ID. Elon,
I know.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Maybe Elon at like 3 a.m. when he's laying on the floor in the Doge room rolls over and says, "Hey, maybe I'll just shoot this guy a couple of $100,000. It seems like a really nice name." I watched him on the Puff and Ponder podcast.
Or maybe he calls him, "Hey, Kevin, you're not taking your Schedule 3 deduction for this. I mean, you could probably save like $6,000 a year. If you would just, is there a reason you're not taking?" I'm like, "I did not know about this." "Well, I was just going over your tax returns for the last few years, and I just noticed." Like, "Oh, hey, thanks, man. I definitely appreciate that."
I swear to God, I mean, you're in the same vein as me, as just being this inventor genius, and you can save a couple thousand,
Yeah.
Maybe
or like, "Hey, I came across your taxes, and I noticed your company name. I could probably help you with this bleed tool if we just tool. It's like, we've been having a problem with Starship, and I think the whole thing is air.
We need to bleed it.
We're having a hard time getting the air out of the system, and I think all we need is to bleed the air out of this valve." We've been having to be like, that last explosion, we found the valve, and we found that the pintle was bent. And now I'm thinking somebody used a screwdriver to bleed the air out, and they should be using the right tool.
You see a big bleed tool going across the night sky.
So
it's gonna link up with Starlink. It's gonna bleed. It's gonna bleed Starlink.
Yeah. So I would like to personally thank you for saving the space industry as we know it with a generous contribution to Cigar Prop.
Kevin, we were trying to decide, how we're gonna get to Mars, and we understand that we have to be in the right position, the right time of the year to do the slingshot. But we realized after we slingshot around the moon, there's going to be a great deal of gas buildup. We had no idea how to relieve it. We want to use your patent on the bleed tool, but we want to increase the size by about 500%. We'll still have your logo on the side.
Yeah.
So
oh my God, that would be great. I should add some fins on it, make it look like the Starship, but I don't know, he might be litigious, so I don't know. Probably not do that.
Mike, you can give out the website where other people can get bleed tools, but I don't think anybody's really going to be interested in Kevin's tax ID number.
I don't. I'm a federal company.
You
can. My all my info's out there. I'm a public company, so
you got to Google it. Look it up. It's right there.
That's it. So
come on, Mike, got to turn the page. Start talking about cigars. We were just talking about cigars. You're still.
That's it. I just lit up a great cigar. This is a Affinity from Sindicato. The wrapper was super yellowed, and I know this thing is smoking good too. I don't seem to smoke a lot of Sindicato. I love Jim Colucci. But I don't know. I just don't come across Sindicato too much.
I've smoked a few. Nothing. I think you've actually sent me some too. I've smoked a few, but nothing that really kind of memorable.
Weird company on how they got started, and I don't know. It's just I don't know, strange, but yeah. So
Yeah,
hey, we got to get into our next ad read, which I forgot. From the folks at Wise Bond Epoxy. Are you looking to cast crystal clear, deep epoxy molds for objects, memorabilia, or flowers? Do you want to pour a richly tinted, thick epoxy river table? How does only one single epoxy pour sound to you? Your quest is over, friend. You have found America's #1 deep pour casting epoxy, voted best thick pour resin epoxy for clarity and all-around performance by famed YouTube woodworker Matt Woodworks. No more waiting around between pouring multiple resin layers. Your live edge, river table, or thick cast epoxy art project will maintain the consistent, high-quality appearance you deserve and expect. We guarantee you will save time, cost, and effort with Wise Bond. Link in the video description down below.
Nice.
So,
I was going to ask you a question earlier, and I got to look it up real quick here. But Kardik, as you know, when you came to visit up in Boiling Springs, Wine and Cigar, super great dude, fantastic humidor. I mean, if you're ever in the upstate here in South Carolina, make sure you stop at Boiling Springs Wine and Tobacco. He posted a picture of a cigar, and he was asking if anybody knew about it. He's thinking about bringing it in. It's called Domain Cigars.
Domain. I'm not familiar with the
Domain. Yeah. I was wondering if you knew anything about it. But I've never heard of them. I'm looking them up right now, and it's like, I'm drawing a big blank for me because I'm not familiar with the brand, but the cigar looks delicious. I mean, it's a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, and he's saying it's pretty good. But
just in the last like 2 weeks, Charlie over at or it could be Brooks over at Half Wheel have been press releases on a couple of new companies. Seems like every few days there's a new company that they're doing a press release on, and I haven't heard of.
They're out of Esteli, another Nicaraguan cigar. It just a select few masters within the domain of premium cigars, and nothing possesses a story quite like Esteban de Salas. So I don't know this individual, but I'm anxious to give it a try. He said he's thinking about bringing it in.
Yeah. So you have to pick some up. Tell them send you some samples for your expert opinion.
Esteban Disla and Daniel Lance.
Esteban Disla. Where do I know? Yeah, where do I know that?
Disla. Yep. Yeah.
Oh no, I know Raul Disla.
Raul
Disla is a name that I'm familiar with.
So it said Disla is a cigar making veteran, most recently spent over 10 years at the Fábrica de Tabacos Nica Sueños S.A., the Esteli Nicaraguan factory that is home of Roma Craft.
Yeah, I was just saying Nica Sueños, Roma Craft. Maybe I know. Maybe that's where Disla. Maybe his brother, Raul, is maybe he's because I said that's the only D. And I thought Raul was with Nica Sueños.
So that was last year in Half Wheels, an article about them coming out with this new cigar. I mean, it's about a year old, so it's coming up in March. So it's interesting. I mean, I'd give it a try. Looks pretty good. Like I said, he's out of that factory, and then this guy Daniel apparently has got 17 years of experience in the cigar industry. More notably, it looks like he was with where did I just have that, Kevin? I'm sorry. Outlaw Cigar Company and Fidel's Cigar Shop. He's also co-founder of Lugio Concepts, which produces the BTX cigar cutter.
Okay, and then they are brothers. So the Disla brothers, yeah. So right on.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah, because Raul has blended a lot of Saka cigars. Well,
okay,
made them. Saka blends his own,
right.
obviously his own. But I think Raul did blend the Unstolen Valor. That was his blend 100%. So, but yeah, no. If a Diesla is involved, it's going to be a good cigar.
Nice. Yeah. I mean,
So,
it's looking. I mean, definitely has the pedigree, if you will. In
yeah.
there, so pretty cool. Yeah, Jennifer. It looks, super dark. Definitely looks delicious.
Yeah, the Foundation of Tabernacle, Connecticut. That was the Havana Seed 142. That was my cigar of the year a number of cigars ago,
Good job,
or
Mike.
a
Way to
number
get
of years ago.
back on the cigar wagon, buddy. We knew we could pull you
So
back in. We knew we could
yeah,
pull you out of that political
yeah.
nosedive.
Nick is Nick making crazy good stuff. I'm wearing a Foundation shirt tonight. Wise man.
Oh, no.
So
I was wondering what shirt you're wearing, and I couldn't tell if it was a bumblebee or what was on your shirt.
yeah, that is the wise man himself. So,
Out of for the Single Barrel Cigar Company, I got my T-shirt on.
Yeah.
The ones who did the rummage on your cigar, the Grace O'Malley.
yeah, and I know we can't promote any websites on YouTube because it violates their policies on tobacco or anything else. But we do distribute a Single Barrel Cigar Company now.
Oh, dude, nice.
We do, we've got a few of their blends that we're distributing because
You doing that six pack, the boxes and stuff like that?
No, just individuals. They didn't have a ton of inventory when I was there, but I get so many people to ask about their cigars all the time, and so I'm like, hey guys, let me just distribute a little bit for you, and so.
What's really cool about their cigars is you probably won't be able to tell, but like it on the one side it'll tell you the whiskey or the bourbon that was used, and then on the other side it tells you when it was done.
Yeah, and after I enjoy one of their cigars, I find because I've got hundreds of cigars that are just like no name cigars from brands. Some of them I smoked before and I really didn't like. So I just shove them in one of their tubes and I let it sit for like a week or so, and it'll infuse the new cigar, so at least it tastes good.
You got to brush off all those extra wood shavings and put it back into the tube.
Yeah, So but I've done that a couple times now, so that one little glass tube can reinfuse a few different cigars.
I've done the same thing. It's great. It definitely can take an average or a lower. I bought a couple of just bundle cigars to smoke throughout the day, and it was like, I don't know, man, these are okay, but and then you put them in there, and it's like I let them sit there for a month or so. I'll do that too with coffee beans. I'll throw some cigars in a bunch of coffee beans and let it sit in there.
I've
days, and that does a crazy job, man. It really does.
Yeah, I've seen you do that on a couple different ones.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'll do that with my Lanceros sometimes, and it's like I throw some Big Tonys in a bag of coffee beans or what have you, especially if they're coffee beans, like, because we're very snobby when it comes to our coffee beans. So if we buy coffee from someone and it sucks, I don't throw the coffee beans out. I'll throw a bunch of cigars in a Tupperware container or bag, put them in, let them sit in there for about 30 days or so, pull it out, start smoking it. It's got a little bit of that coffee flavor to it.
Have you done any testing where like if you like do like an espresso grind and put the cigars in there, do they get infused more because there's more surface area
versus just having them beans?
In a grind versus bean, because each grind obviously going to have more of a surface area to release the aromatics. But
if I was to throw out my 100% amateur carry opinion on this, with absolutely nothing to have any findings on this, I would think that once you grind that bean, it's dry. The beans themselves still have oils on them, so I still think those oils on the beans can infuse or get into tobacco better than a bunch of dry ground coffee. I don't know.
Okay.
If anybody could tell me if that's accurate or not. But when I think about like coffee beans and I open up the bag and you reach your hand in, and even if they're not, like the super like sheen oily like you get like at Starbucks, you still definitely if you if you grab a handful of beans and a handful of ground coffee and you put it back in, you smell your hands. Your hands definitely have a stronger smell from the beans.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know if grinding would release more oils. I don't know. So
Now, when you grind it, it's just pulverizing that bean, and then at that point, any type of moisture or anything is not going to last very long. That's why
oh,
it's so
okay.
great to grind your own beans and then make your coffee immediately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I should give that a try and see if it works. But
What you should
um,
do is make some coffee bean infused cigars and then put them in a container and just knock off the Folgers label. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's not you. Never mind. Forgot who I was talking to.
nah,
So
even if I had the Folgers, I could do that
yeah.
though. I guarantee you, if I filled a Folgers container full of Starbucks and made Jen a French press, she would be like, "This sucks. It's Folgers." I'd be like, "No, I put coffee. I put Starbucks in there." Yes, but it changed the flavor once it entered that Folgers can. It was a whole different universe in that can.
Oh, you know that. You know it.
100%. That's actually a good. I'll tell you what though, her palate's good. She knows. Like every once in a while, I'll try and slip one past the goalie. Like the one morning, I just make my Starbucks. One morning, I had some Starbucks and I just did a sprinkle of Dunkin' Donuts dark roast on top. And she'd be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, that coffee was good, but it wasn't great. It just tasted off. What'd you do to it?" I'll be like, "I didn't do anything." She's like, "You did something to it," but she knows. Like she does. She's really good at that. It's and I got to give myself some props. Give my cigars the props that they deserve. I'll give Care the props that he deserves. My coffee's 95% of the time is spot on. I have
Yeah.
a certain way of doing it. My pots of coffee always perfect, always tastes great, always spot on. It's when I start experimenting with sprinkling some different things on there, and she could definitely tell that there's a difference. 100%.
Yeah, talk about Dunkin'. I haven't been to Dunkin' in probably a month. For a cold brew, and too many calories in the one I drink though.
I can
I
imagine.
drink.
That's a
Yeah,
freaking
like a
factory.
2,500 calorie drink that I finish in 5 minutes. So
I go into a
yeah,
diabetic coma if I did
it,
that. I drink
it's
my coffee black or with a splash of milk to cool it off. That's exactly what I like it. No, we went to Dunkin's because we had family over, and not everybody likes this. Especially Jennifer's dad and stuff. If we make him the coffee that we make, he's going to be like, "All right, time to go home." He's not going to go to bed for 3 days. So we'll do some Sumatra beans, which are okay. They're kind of a good substitute when you can't find espresso beans, or we'll do the Dunkin'. I don't mind Dunkin'. I thought it was pretty good. I've done a French press with it. I also see I'm a little bit more adventurous than Jennifer. I like the Krispy Kreme dark roast, and believe it or not, I like Waffle House dark roast.
Oh
Waffle
yeah,
House dark roast is a really good cup of coffee when made properly.
it's the dirt that they put in there, the
Well,
grease.
Waffle House always they just you have diner coffee. It all tastes the same.
Yeah.
But they do have a dark roast, and it's like, fuck, I've gotten bags of it, and you gotta see. Everybody always thinks when you add more coffee, that's going to make it stronger. It to a point, but it's going to make it more bitter. That bitterness is going to increase exponentially versus the strength of the coffee. So if you have dark roast from Dunkin' Donuts and it says put in 10 scoops and you put in 12 or 13 or 14, it's going to be very, very bitter. It's going to be very off-putting. It's not going to increase the strength. It's just going to really fuck up the flavor.
Yeah. And that has been Coffee Minute by Care. That'll be our newest segment.
Coffee Minute by Care.
Yeah.
I am by no stretch of the imagination a a coffee aficionado, but I will give you my opinions and my thoughts on it
Yeah.
through
Well,
trial
speaking of
and error.
your opinion, do you ever find a good we were talking about vitamins, a good multivitamin. You ever
Haven't
do your
found one
research
yet.
on that?
Nope, not
Yep, you
yet.
haven't
Haven't
found
gotten
one
there.
because what what is it better to throw some Drusate in the container and throw in some Seattle's Best? I've heard of Seattle's Best. Everybody says that's a really good coffee.
It's not bad. Seattle's Best isn't
Yeah.
bad. I also had Caribou coffee was big when I was up in Pennsylvania. I found a lot of Caribou coffees up there.
Have you, Kara, have you tried Oak and Bond? You know, the coffee that comes in like the can. They I guess
No.
they store it in like bourbon barrels.
Hey,
The
Kev,
coffee.
give me 1 second here.
Yep. So yeah, Oak and Bond has a coffee Jessica and I really liked. We tried some of their coffee years ago, and they come in. They look like beer cans where you like pull the pull tab, and they have the coffee sealed inside of it. But they store the coffee in different bourbon or whiskey barrels, and the coffee is really infused with that, and it was really good. I'm not obviously a hot coffee guy. I only drink cold brew. So Jessica did them hot. I did them cold. So that was really good. But yeah, anything you can do with factory smoke is definitely going to make it better. You know, nothing against factory. I mean, it's a $2.25 cigar, and you're getting exactly what you're paying for. So
They're not bad cigars. Devin, I like
yeah.
a Matt. If you like a good inexpensive cigar, Matt Booth's Ichiban
Yeah.
line of cigars are pretty good too. You know, they've
Yeah.
got Corojo, they're pretty good. But
so over the last week, you know, and I bring up the multivitamin thing because I've been diving deep into magnesium and how crucial magnesium. So I have magnesium. What is the one? I think I've decided on magnesium glycinate is the best magnesium out there. So now I got to find a company that makes a good magnesium glycinate because I think it'll help us sore joints, Jessica with, sometimes sleeping. And so that's my next is finding a good magnesium supplement. Cause
you gotta watch that also is it can be a little bit of a laxative too. But
that's magnesium citrate. So you got to, magnesium citrate is the one they'll give you, I think, for that'll give you upset your tummy and give you the diarrheas. But yeah, the magnesium the diarrheas. But yeah, there's like a dozen different magnesiums and they all do different things. But the glycinate looks like it's like the most most around. You take it, spread it out throughout the day. 400. I don't know if it's milligrams, grams, or IUs, whatever they measure it in. But yeah, it's that's my next one. I think we're gonna add magnesium to our diet.
Okay.
And,
I used to sell a drug called it was a vitamin. It was part of my over-the-counter medication that I sold. It was called Slow Mag.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like you said, it was always, promoted as being very healthy for you, but it was definitely one that kept the GI tract in
Yeah, the majority of magnesium oxide, which is the cheapest, and but it only has a 4% absorption rate. So even if you're taking 1,000 milligrams a day, you're only getting 4%. So you got to take like 25 pills a day to get anything. But the magnesium glycinate has like an 85% absorption rate.
Okay, this is magnesium chloride. It's been about a minute since I sold that drug or that vitamin.
Yeah. So I got to find a good one now. So and then it's all like, do you pair it with a vitamin D? Just because I know Jessica needs some vitamin D, and because she working from home, not out there in the sun, getting that sweet vitamin D. So like I am.
It's a really good book that I had this years ago, and I need to buy it again. Right? It was the original book. It was called The Anti-Aging Revolution.
Yeah.
Now I had this book. God Almighty, it was probably the '90s, late '90s, maybe, right? And it's an interesting book that talks about, not only lifestyle, changes, exercise, but gets heavily into the different vitamins and the different supplements you should be taking and what they do, and
Yeah.
then they did profiles, right? And some of the profiles they did was like Jack LaLanne, and probably a lot of people don't know who the fuck Jack LaLanne is.
Yeah.
But when you talk about Jack LaLanne, they gave you like his history and what he's done, and they profiled several people like that who lived well into their 80s and 90s, and was like still swimming like the English Channel and shit like that.
Yeah.
And what they did in order to live healthier. It's definitely a book that I would recommend. It's called The Anti-Aging Revolution, second edition. Stop the clock. Time is on your side for a younger, stronger, happier you. And it really, I used to take a collection of medications from multivitamins to a series of. Actually, I think I'm going to buy this book to a series of different proteins. And then it talked about the importance of your pituitary gland and some other areas, and your body's production of human growth hormone, and how you can't take a supplement to stimulate the body. You have to alternate it between natural. So it was like they would candy. I think it was the one was like yam root or something. Very interesting book, but all these different combinations of what these folks would take and all the impact that it has on your body. I recommend it.
Yeah. I definitely need to get more supplements as I get older. I feel it. My joints are getting sore. They're getting stiff. I don't need it for the sleeping because I sleep like a baby. But mental acuity, I don't have an issue with that. But yeah, mainly my joint, because I take a multivitamin now. I've switched it up a couple times. I don't think it's fucking working, So, but yeah, I've been digging into that. Speaking of book, I just got my daughter a book. I got to bring to her, and it was the book on vaccinations in babies, and in 2025 or whatnot, and not anti-vaxxing at all. It's just spacing out the vaccinations and, prenatal vitamins and everything like that. So I know she knows a lot of it, but I try to be active in her pregnancy, as a good grandpa should, as a good dad should. So,
yeah,
but yeah, it's a good, I've skimmed through the book, and it's a good book on, how to space them out instead of doing a ton all at once.
Right.
Because you're a little older than I am, so you got like 6 vaccines. I probably got 60. Now the kids are getting
not that old, man.
100.
I was just talking to my sister about that. It was, I think, a couple of years prior to my birth.
Are you feeling your vaccine? You got the
but my sister and brother always had that big round scar.
Oh, okay, yeah, my dad's got that. Yeah,
the big metal, that was. We were kind of laughing, how it was back in the day during school.
I thought yours was flaring up and you started to run.
No, fuck, oh gosh, why, Kevin? No, it was interesting when they talked. We were talking about that. It was like, all the different things that you would do in school that would probably traumatize kids nowadays. But I actually, it's kind of funny is I looked it up and here's, I think I made my decision on the vitamin because I was searching for the name. And then when I start talking about the anti-aging revolution, it reminded me of this doctor who's my family doctor, buddy of mine. He's an osteopathic doctor, and he used to he got me using this OPC3. It's a antioxidant, and it was this powder. And when I looked it up, it's Isotonics is the name of the company. And they have liquid and powdered multivitamins with iron. They have antioxidants and so on and so forth. So I think that is going to be the direction I take when I do get a multivitamin. I want something that's going to be absorbed into my system rather quickly and not have to go through any of this breakdown in your stomach, unless there is a vitamin that has a benefit of going through the first pass effect, which is the release of a compound once the pill or the medication is processed through the liver, it breaks it down, and some medications actually break down into another compound, which actually has more beneficial or secondary impact on your body. So there's some drugs that are not, the active ingredient isn't in your body until it goes through your liver. It goes through what's called the first pass effect, and
Oh, I
then
didn't know
it turns
that.
off
Yeah.
and it goes through your body and does what it does. And then some of them, then when they are processed and they go through the liver again, they are actually processed into inert active inert whatever, they become inert, and then it's passed out through urine or what have you. So it depends on the drug and the medication, and how its efficacy is the pharmacodynamics and pharmacokinetics of that medication in the human body. But most vitamins are going to be absorbed quickly. A lot of them are just processed and kind of flushed out of your system. That's why they tell you, doesn't matter how much of X vitamin you take, your body's only going to absorb so much of it. The rest of it, when you piss out bright yellow, that means you're pissing out a bunch of vitamins your body didn't use. So this is something I'm going to look into.
Yeah, except what is it? A, E, D, and K are fat soluble. So if you take too many, like your body just builds up.
Yeah,
And, you can actually have some issues.
Yeah, and there's some drugs that if they encourage you to take it with milk, because if they are fat soluble, that they do, and drink it with non-skim milk, something that actually has fat in it. It actually it can absorb it into your system more effectively and efficiently.
We are a vitamin D or a whole milk house. I will not allow any nut milks in this house. Nothing. It's got to be full fat, full flavored, no skim, no 1%, 2%, no nut milks, whole milk. I have a 16-ounce glass of whole milk every single night, 7 days a week before I go to bed. The last thing I drink is a 16-ounce glass of whole milk before I go to sleep every night.
What's funny, Kev, is growing up, I was always a big milk guy. Always.
Yeah.
I mean, milk, and even when I was a teenager, adult, I always had to have a gallon of milk. I could drink milk with anything. It really is something for me, which was it would actually, it's a good thirst quencher too. But I love and really enjoyed milk. And then I realized that, okay, maybe I got to go to a skim milk. So I used to drink a lot of skim milk, and then no one in this house will drink anything skim milk, so we got to get 2% milk, right? Since I've been dieting and stuff, the one thing I did a while ago was and then my cardiologist told me to get almond milk, and I used to eat Oreos with almond milk, because you can't drink almond milk. You can't.
Let's call it almond juice, but yes,
it's almond juice. But if you want to, add it to a latte, fine. If you want to put it, but you just can't sit down and be like, hey, I'm going to have a freaking glass of this almond milk or juice, right? It's terrible. But I've cut a lot of dairy out of my product. Like, if I eat dairy, it is a handful of M&Ms here and there. It is maybe a piece of cheese on my burger or on my sandwich. I've eliminated a lot of dairy from my system. And what I've noticed is now, if I do introduce dairy, or if I have a cheat day and I want to eat some ice cream, grab the Gas X and the freaking Tums and everything else, it tears me apart. It just
I have a cheese stick, every Tillamook cheese stick every day with my lunch. Tillamook. And then they make the best dairy products, the best cheeses anyways. And like I said, a big glass of milk before bed.
You are like you are like talking to a sixth grader one where we talk about your diet. It's like, I have a Tillamook with my Lunchables and then my chicken nuggets.
Yeah, I was just talking to Jessica the other night, and I need to switch up my lunches, because I eat the same thing for a year for lunch. I go a year, and I usually change it up. And I was thinking about doing like the overnight oats. You've been seeing those. I've been seeing more and more You build them like a little mason jar. You put your fruits and your oats and everything in there. I think I'm gonna try that, the overnight oats, and maybe
For
try
what?
and switch that up for lunch for this year. Yeah, we're getting
Never heard
deep
of
in this year. Yeah, it's like you take like a mason jar, you put oats in there, you put milk in there, you grind up like bananas, or you can put cranberries in there, and then like you just eat it cold. You don't heat it up, but like overnight, like the oats absorb the milk, and then or your nut juice or whatever, and you just eat it right out like a porridge. They say it's delicious.
Porridge? Oh,
Yeah, they
are
say it's a
they?
delicious.
Are they the same they? That I don't know, man. That sounds gross.
I don't know, but
nut juice
I have my sandwich, I have my little bag of Doritos, I have my cheese stick. Sometimes I add a pickle, sometimes I don't, and then I have my my apple, and then
do you
10,
trade
10 out,
anything?
and then 10 ounces of cranberry juice
Do you
for my
trade
lunch.
anything? Do you trade anything
I
in
do
your lunch?
not.
Someone has
I
anything
do.
cooler than you?
Nobody, because everybody I work with goes out for lunch every day, which absolutely blows my mind. Every day. I got two guys. They stop in at work before they go to work. They get their breakfast every day, and then they go out for lunch every day.
Oh God!
And it's just
look at their fucking that's wasted.
my other guy Eric. He stops at the convenience store every day, and it's like one of these convenience stores that it's like a restaurant. He gets like these potatoes and eggs and gravy mixture, so he buys that. Two green Monster Energies and 2 packs of cigarettes every day on his way to work.
Jesus,
Every
almighty.
day.
That's like $50 right there.
5 days a week.
That's fucking
every day.
crazy.
It's insane. 2 packs of cigarettes, 2 Monster Energies, and then a big breakfast.
I look at Jennifer when she stops at Starbucks. I'm like, yo, we got coffee here. Just fill a bigger to-go cup. Like that's like you said. If it's just you, that adds up real quick, man.
Real fast.
Real fast. It does.
Yeah, it's insane. Like I said, and Jessica and I were talking the other day about, cause I've lost some weight, I'm down, I'm getting close. 169 is my goal. To get back into 160, but like I'm the perfect person for dieting because I'm obsessive compulsive about everything in my life. I eat the same thing every day at the same time. So like when it comes to dieting, I'm like, there's no, I'm the perfect dieter because I get into a habit instantly on everything. So
yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that with you.
Her not so much because she works from home. Like you, like I said, you have at least a good routine.
I got it. But working from home, you have to have a routine because it can go south real fucking quick.
I gained 30 pounds, when I was laying down for 9 months, this knee injury, 30 and it swapped. I lost a ton of muscle mass and I gained a lot of fat. So I never really kind of went up in weight. 199 was my highest. I've never hit 200 in my life, but at the end of that 9 months when I was 199, I'm like, I have got to buckle down because I said it. Like you said, it go downhill fast. You just eat. If you have the ability to eat, at least you work. So
graze,
I mean,
graze all day though. But
great.
Kev, I work from home.
Yeah,
I'm not like one of those people that freaking has a treadmill and my computer in front of me.
You don't have a stand-up computer desk on a treadmill.
It's real easy to be like, all right, well, okay, so oh man, let me go ahead and get some that bag of chips would be great right now with some I mean
let me get to eat this row of Oreos. Well, I mean, I'm just gonna eat the one row.
And then it's like the next day, it's like, don't worry. I'll wake up early tomorrow and go for a walk. I'll burn it off. And you wake up the next morning, you're like, fuck that. I ain't going to go do that. Yeah, I mean, I gained a tremendous amount of weight sitting at home. I mean, when I worked out in the field, and again, I had routine then there too. It was wake up in the morning, go for a walk, come back, grab my egg white frittata at the front because I always stayed at the Marriott. I always had an egg white frittata. Had a cup of coffee, go upstairs, smoke a cigar, drink my coffee, be on my way, come home from work. come back to the hotel, go downstairs, work out, go to the gym. Then I go eat dinner. And then I go back up to my room and hang out, smoke a cigar. I go to a cigar shop, local cigar lounge, go there, hang out, smoke a cigar, come back. That was it. It wasn't like I was down at the bar drinking all night. And, I probably put about 10,000 steps on in a day with all the walking that I did, different hospitals and different facilities, everything I was going. So it was a routine. And then when I remember the first 6 months I came back, I didn't know what to do. It was tough to adjust and adapt. But now, I've gotten in a routine. You've helped me out with my Metamucil routine. Lots of water. I'm filling this up several times during the day.
Yeah, I don't
drinking water. And I just tell Jen, I'm like, get this out of here. If I have a snack, it's nuts. I like mixed nuts. I don't like unsalted nuts. I don't like honey covered nuts. I like peanuts. I like cashews. I like walnuts. I don't want cranberries in there. I don't want M&Ms in there. I don't want trail mix. Sometimes if I'm feeling crazy, I may throw some Chex Mix in with my, mix of nuts. But I like mixed nuts, and I cannot lie.
That's my nightly snack with my milk. Maybe once every 2 weeks, I'll have a bowl of ice cream, with my milk. But it's usually 3 to 4 ounces of Planters peanuts. I'll do 2 to 3 ounces of cranberries, and usually an ounce to 2 ounces of chocolate chips, like dark chocolate chips, and put in there for that little bit of sweetness. But I did find, so I crave dark chocolate. I mean, absolutely crave it. Like I can eat just a ton. But doing my research on magnesium, that's a sign of magnesium deficiency. If you are constantly craving dark chocolate and you cannot get enough of it, that is your body, because dark chocolate is a good source of magnesium, and that is your body telling you.
I'm not surprised
that you are deficient. And I read that and I'm like, man, like there are some nights like I cannot get enough dark chocolate. Like it's just absolutely Ghirardelli. I'll eat a dozen squares. Like
I'll be interested if once you start
enough.
taking the supplements, if you'll notice that there's a reduction in your cravings, because I had a buddy of mine, his daughter was eating sidewalk chalk.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it's an iron deficiency. There's iron in there. Your body fucking knows it and craves it and knows this is, or if you have some women, I've talked to someone, like I was pregnant. I had the urge to want to eat my freaking my powdered laundry detergent. Well, it's because your body's lacking something, and there's something in there that your body's lacking, and it knows it's in there. It's the smell. It's your human body's amazing.
It is, yeah. And I know, yeah. There are weird times. I said, for a couple of, and I don't know what's in applesauce. For a couple of weeks, I was eating
apples.
I was eating a jar of applesauce with dinner, an entire 16-ounce jar or 12-ounce jar, whatever it is, of chunky applesauce every single night for probably almost 2 weeks, an entire jar with my dinner. And then I haven't eaten it again in a month. There was just something, and I never looked up, and I told Jessica, and I go, there's something in this. Like my body is just craving, whatever vitamin it is, but yeah, the body is a weird thing.
Yeah. Cravings for sidewalk for chalk is iron or calcium deficiency, because your body knows it. Your body knows it.
Yeah.
I understand that there's that whole crazy, non-edible cravings. People are weird, whatever. But most of the times it's because your body's lacking something. Everyone wants to talk it down. I just have this craving to go eat dirt. I just really like it. I'm going to be on that show that people eat weird things. Well, no, you're eating dirt because you're missing something, bro.
Yeah, you're missing some kind of supplement. Yeah,
something.
That's it. So, all right, man. Been 2 hours.
2 hours of politics, cigars, and sidewalk chalk.
That's it. So thank you everybody for joining us. We'll be back again next week for another episode of the Puff and Ponder podcast. I think we have another I Tap That show set up for the first Monday in March. We got Tim Long from Cigar Show Tim. I talked about him earlier. He's going to come on and talk to us. He was just at TPE not too long ago. He'll be at, I believe he'll be at PCA. So we'll get to kind of talk about the difference between TPE and PCA. We want to talk about cigar. I may see if Ryan wants to come on, talk about like cigar boxes. We talked about that last week. And then, yeah, it's going to be, gonna be awesome.
We supposed to have those guys on from that cigar company. What's that?
Yeah, I got to reach out to them. You know,
I
forget forget their names as well. So I got to reach out to them as well. So I kind of, you know, to be honest with you, I kind of like the format. You know, a bit like when we had HDA. You know, even our last our last I Tapped That. You know, it just is a great show. We had no notes, and it was just you know. So I kind of, you know, and I'm like, let's have Tim on, so at least we can kind of just shoot the shit and still kind of talk about cigars. And yeah, I kind of like that, like that theme.
Always good having Tim on.
Yeah,
having Tim on.
So, all right, everybody. In case you missed it, I'm gonna play our outro. Let us know next week what you think of the song while Kerr works on. We got a cool reggae version they came out with. That was really cool. So we'll see everybody.
Kev, real quick though, to give everybody some background, we have a couple of theme songs that we're going to run by you. We would definitely love your input on which one you like. I think they're all good in their own respects, all a little catchy, but we definitely want your feedback on it. So this is number one.
This is one that we're not going to use, but it's the only one we have right now.
People may like it.
That's it. So, all right. We'll see everybody next week.
See you.
Welcome to the Puff and Ponder podcast, where conversations ignite. Here's Kevin and Kerr. Grab a seat, light it up, let's unwind. Kevin and Kerr with stories in mind, from good cigars to last night's game. Join the talk, you'll be glad you came. Puff and ponder, sparks take flight. Conversations blaze all day and night. Tune in now, don't hesitate. It's the show that's great. Let's elevate where conversations ignite. Don't hesitate.
That's like that should be played with a church with a guitar.
That's it.